Welcome everyone. Today we're going to do our twin flame reading. I haven't done one in a while. I feel like it's been a couple months. I'm not sure. But I just haven't felt called to it. You know, like I don't do a reading unless I feel called to it. And today I feel called to do my fellow twins readings and see what's going on. So what we're going to do, we're going to break it down. We're going to look at the divine masculine. We're going to look at the divine feminine. They each have their own deck. Divine masculine is going to have the tarot of dreams. The divine feminine is going to have the good tarot. And then they're each going to have their own clarifiers also. I really want to look for the synchronicities, and that's why I'm using 4 different decks. So for the masculine, we're going to use the Gilded Tarot, and for the feminine, we're going to use the Crystal Tarot. So that's my plan. Anyway, let's see how it goes down. You know, after that, I leave it open. And by the way, so we're going to look at both sides, and you know, you can look at it in different ways. You can look at it the runner and the chaser, if that's, you know, what you believe. You know, sometimes you're in, you know, you're more in your masculine, and the male could be more in their feminine. So I feel like trust your intuition. That's the biggest thing, because you know which side are you. You'll know, you'll feel it. You know what I mean? And if you don't, then maybe this one's not for you. So you can, you know, I have a whole playlist. And by the way, time is flueless. Time is fluid. So, you know, I feel like a reading will call out to you no matter when it was created. You know, it's just, maybe it's when our vibration is ready for it, to understand it. You know what I mean? Or even readings that you've seen, that maybe you're in a certain type of energy, you know, changes start to happen. Listen, time, we can't stop time, right? So even if we feel this way, time's going to continue to move us. So, but something may change, and a reading may come back to you, and then you go back and you watch it, and you have a whole different perspective. So, I think it's just the way it's meant to be. Okay, let's get into the reading. So, let's go ahead, and we're going to start on the divine masculine side. Give these a couple shuffles. Everything's pre-shuffled. I just like to give it, I don't know, I feel like I want to give it a good shuffle. By the way, we are going to read off the top and just let the story develop. I feel like that's the best way to do these readings. Okay. Just give them a cut. And let's bring the lid down, and let's begin. Wow. Alright. So we have the Ten of Swords. This tells me that someone has been in a repeated pattern, in a not a good pattern, maybe a karmic pattern. But it's almost like, I almost feel like, you know, this person has to break free of this. Because if I don't break free of it, like, another dagger will come, and another dagger will come, and another dagger will come. So I feel like, I don't know, I'm feeling this so strongly, but I feel like it is up to the person to, it's almost like I see him like breaking glass, like breaking out of this cube, breaking free. Breaking free. Alright. Holy crap. We have the Nine of Swords. Well, the good news is it goes from a 10 to a 9. But the Nine of Swords talks about, maybe someone is afraid to break this pattern. It's just what I've known. It's just what I've known. Maybe I'm afraid, changes, doing, what am I trying to say? Change is hard, right? But it doesn't mean it's not beneficial. And it doesn't mean that the change is always easy. Sometimes the harder the change, the greater the reward. So anyways, I feel like this person is definitely, what I like is I feel like they are having that realization that they may be in this like repeated pattern. And again, it's something they need to break free from. Almost like, submission. But over here in the Nine of Swords is about worry, right? Worrying about the next dagger, and therefore the next dagger shows. But this is about unnecessary. So I feel like this is talking about maybe some type of change. Like this person having that realization and wants to make the change and is kind of in that mode of, change means different. We have the Chariot. I feel like that's really good news. First of all, it's a card of Cancer. But I feel like it's really good news. I often see the Chariot as like the divine feminine and divine masculine, and finding balance within that, right? It's almost like the Emperor and the Empress. I want to say complete each other, but, in the same breath, like they'd be fine on their own. It's not something they have to have, but if it's, if it is what it is, then I do whatever I need to do, I guess. Anyway, so why am I saying all that? The Chariot. The Chariot comes in when someone's ready for the Chariot to come in, because the Chariot's about using your intention to drive this Chariot. Your intention. Their intention. And I also don't feel like the Chariot really comes in until there's movement, right? Until someone is ready for the Chariot to come in. Again, somehow has found balance within themselves. And again, that's the light and the dark, and the real and the illusion and all that. Okay, let's keep going. Wow, hello. That's beautiful. Six of Swords. So, someone is breaking that pattern. They're breaking it once and for all. And it's interesting because, they may be here right now. They may be like, whoa, thinking about it, seeing it, having realizations. But that doesn't mean movement is fast, right? Because we have the 10 to the 9. But then we get the 6. So this is where true movement starts to happen. So this could definitely talk about time. Time. But at the same breath, I feel like this is someone who is having the realizations of, just how bad it has gotten. And over here, I feel like this person is definitely like, my dreams are over here, but my life is over here. It's almost like someone had to find the guts to look at the truth of themselves and their life. Whether, a 10 of Swords doesn't mean necessarily that you're responsible for it, but I do feel like if it gets to the 10, it's gotten to the point of a pattern. And, and like I expect a dagger to come, and therefore a dagger comes. What's that dagger doing there? Well, that was your intention. That's what the energy they put out there, who's ever over here. And, the universe isn't going to be like, I don't know why all of a sudden I'm thinking of like politics, and I do not want to get into that, but it's definitely unbalanced right now around the world. And I feel like it is definitely talking about this person needing to figure that out on their own. Because when they do, it is like they break free. And that's why the Chariot's showing. I understand now. And then the Six of Swords. There's your movement. The movement away from these 10 swords. The way it was. It reminds me of like Columbus all of a sudden, like, discovering new lands. But first I had to realize what it was that was holding me down, right? 10 of Swords, they feel pinned to the ground, but they're not. They're not. There's a will, there's a way. And the Six of Swords does talk about, it doesn't promise that the change is going to be easy. It is going to be a little choppy. But the promise is that you will get through it, or they will get through it, and they will come out the other side. No doubt. Interesting how much sword energy they have over here. Alright, I don't know why I'm pushing it so far away. We have the Page of Wands. Completely different energy. First of all, just look at the color. Right? We went from, grayish, darkish, rainish, like it's always raining type of energy, to now, like, boom, sun. Oh no, this is a page. Page kind of giving me the side eye. Might be like, very alluring type energy. And then the Hermit. We have Cancer and Virgo connected here. Just have to put that out there. First of all, I like that the Hermit came out here on this side, because I feel like, this person, it's definitely their energy. The reading is opening with very difficult energy. But in the same time, it just feels like what I've known, and sometimes even the bad, because the change can be scary. I accept it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what the person's doing in the Ten of Swords. They're accepting it. The Nine of Swords says, it's almost like, I feel like, I think about when I moved here into my twins' house. All the worry that I had, and it was for a year, like I delayed it for a year because there was just so much worry that I had, like, I won't go into what, like, anything and everything, but what's so interesting is when I got here, I didn't have to worry about any of that. So is all the Nine of Swords unnecessary worry, and that put a delay. It put a delay, but whatever it was meant to do. But ultimately, taking that chance, I feel like, and in the Hermit, I feel like this person has definitely had the opportunity to examine anything that's toxic to them, and it can even be their own thoughts now, right? Maybe I've been in this energy for so long that now it's in my thought system, and because it's in my thought system, for some reason I just go ahead and believe it, right? And maybe they've, like, I definitely feel like they've had that realization, and I also feel like this is talking about not just in a, yes, I'm learning in this physical plane, but also in a very spiritual type energy. The Chariot is really unlimited energy. Um, all right, let's look at the bottom. We have the moon. Now we have the card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer, which would be, for some, maybe a double Cancer. And then just forget the signs. The moon is about uncertainty. You know, that may be why I felt like it was always a raining type energy, like the sun was never out. I feel like in this page is the sun. This page is probably who's over here. And it may not have come together, but it's interesting that the Hermit is looking over, and the Six of Swords is about where I'm moving next. And it's all like coming to the page's energy. So this feels very like someone, at least, or maybe I even, when I think of them in a much more kind of adventurous soul, not like what I am here. Differently. It's just different. But the moon is, you know, and listen, this can talk about like you know, I want to say like anxiety, but it can talk about dreams. I feel like there's nothing anybody can do for this person to move them to the next stage. They have to do it themselves. Now, that being said, I also feel like, because this page feels like here, that maybe this page is on their mind, and that just may mean you or someone that I used to know. That was low. All right, let's go ahead and bring in the other side. Let's see what's going on there. Excuse me. We will do 3 cards down the middle to connect them. This is a longer reading. You got to know that going in. But I feel like, why wouldn't you want a longer reading? I would want one. All right. We have the Queen of Swords. Can be a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have the Six of Pentacles. We have the Ten of Cups. I don't know why I'm doing this one so fast, but I feel like getting all the cards out. We have the Seven of Cups. Look at this with the Eight of Cups. Interesting, because they have like the 10 of Swords and then the 9 of Swords. You have the 7 of Cups into the 8 of Cups. And then, wow, I kind of love this. The Knight of Pentacles coming right under the Ten of Cups. You know, I try very hard in my readings not to give anyone false hope, right? I don't want to give anyone false hope of, yes, you will have this 10 of Cups. Listen, I feel like if I want it with this person, well, then this person's got to do their own, right? Because they're the ones who have to break free, and you can't break them free. Doesn't mean that you can't be on their mind, that you're not part of their energy. But it's interesting because when I felt the page, I felt like the page was more advanced. And I don't know if that's the right word to use. Maybe it's higher vibration, but I want to say more advanced. I just kind of want to say that. Grab a drink real quick. So the first thing I'm noticing is with this queen, you know, at one point she was in indecision mode. 7 of Cups. What should I do? It can be, you know, and I feel like actually she had made a decision to walk away from something. I also feel like this queen has, and of course this queen can be anyone, you know, again, I feel like it's also the page, it's the same energy. But I feel like this queen, I feel like, why is she advanced? Because I feel like she'd done that work. She'd already done it. She'd already looked at her emotional house, let's say, because again, the 10 of Cups, you know, this is about love and emotion and that type of thing. So, you know, 8 of Cups is like, I'm making room for it. Right? I'm clearing all the cobwebs, and I'm making room for whatever will be. And then what follows that? The Knight of Pentacles. Well, it's all about the right time, right? Everything happening in its divine time. That's what the Knight of Pentacles is saying, right? And I feel like this queen just kind of knows it. Like, it'll come about. It'll come about when it's meant to come about. In the meantime, this queen, I feel like, has already, like, raised her vibration. So the Knight of Pentacles, you know, what do I think the Knight is bringing in? Well, I feel like this person, right? The right time. The right time. Knight of Pentacles is a lesson in patience. So that tells me that, and again, I felt that right away over here, like it went the whole way to the 10. We're opening at a 10. And it did go down, like that worry level went down, but only 1 notch. Here, the vibration is going up from the 7 to the 8. I'm not going to sit in a state of uncertainty. Doesn't feel right. You know, Queen of Swords lives in truth. And, you know, you can't be truthful, you can't be with me. She's mirroring this 10 of Cups. Alright, let's see what's on the bottom of that deck. Well, we have the 3 of Pentacles, which makes perfect sense because, you know, the 3 of Pentacles to me talks about you. It talks about who you are as an individual, right? There's no one else like you. No one can replace you. Doesn't mean all will accept you, right? But it doesn't matter because you've found a place, or you're finding, I feel like you have, but for some of you, maybe you're finding, like, you know, that part of you that just is like no other. You know, I think that's probably an important step. You know what I mean? Because I feel like twins can come together and then maybe it just wasn't meant at that time, or maybe it was just meant to spark. And then the rest of our lives can be like focusing on like, oh, when it's going to come together. Knight of Pentacles is saying this has been about patience, right? You do your thing. Let them, well, there's nothing we can do, right? This is something that they have to come to. And they do. I feel like they do. And I feel like they come out all the wiser because of it. I don't feel like they're bringing any of that energy forward. So, that's a good thing. Because you don't want that energy, like, you know. Okay. Excuse me. All right, you know what? Let's trying to think. Well, I keep going back to this deck, so let's look at the mat. Let's go back. You know, I get this feeling that there's someone out there, and I feel like on this side of, you know, I feel like this is someone who probably told a lot of fibs or a lot of lies. Now, I don't feel like this is everyone. I feel like this may just be a few, but I feel like, you know, there was a period in my life where I might have lied a lot. And I feel like, and maybe that was with you. And then maybe I had to leave, right? Because this queen is like, like, I only accept the truth. And it may have taken time for this queen to come to that, right? But I feel the energy of, and then I feel like because I was that way, I ended up with someone who did that to me. And that may be part of what they're going through right now. They have connected with someone who is a liar, a cheater, whatever it is. Now, again, I don't feel like that's everyone. You know, but listen, that's karma. They're seeing it, they're realizing, or at least that's, you know, when they do, they break through that glass ceiling. Okay. Let's take the Gilded Tarot over this. They both have sevens right there. You know, and then I get this energy of, like, I feel like there's a queen out there who, listen, I don't know if I say it out loud, I don't know if I say it to someone, or I'm just thinking it, but it's like, you know, I have this, and I'm going to say expectations of how I would like my Ten of Cups to be, but I don't feel like it's, like it can only be this way, right? But at the same time, I feel like you do have certain expectations, and that's okay. Okay. Well, we have the Hermit. Hermit's lantern is illuminating that Ten of Swords. You know, can I say that this experience that this person's going through, I feel like becomes part of their wisdom. And it may just be like, you know, hey, I used to be that way, and now I see. Some people can't learn unless they actually experience. It's funny, Sam can be like that. Like, I'll say something and I can tell, like, So I'll do what he did, and I don't mean, I'm just talking about like little things. And he'll be like, hey, and I'll be like, now you understand. You know what I mean? But I feel this on a larger level. Interesting that the Hermit's illuminating a snake also. Okay. We had the Death card. Card Scorpio. We have Scorpio and Virgo side by side now. I almost hate giving signs because I don't want people to be like, you know, oh, well, that's not my sign. Death card talks about endings, closing doors, right? Why? So there can be a rebirth, right? I'm closing one door, right? And listen, I feel like this queen over here, through the Eight of Cups, she also closed a door. And when I say close a door, it doesn't mean I've closed my life down. It just means I have the wisdom. I've gained the wisdom. I see what I needed to see. And it may have taken time, because time and time, but now is the death card, the closing, the ending. And it's nothing anybody needs to fear, because it's the beginning, it's the rebirth maybe of all it can be. We have the Nine of Wands coming over the Chariot. I think the person in the Nine of Wands, they had to have seen their part in, let's say, hey, listen, it could be 9 years. But I feel like this is someone who really has seen their part in something. But listen, nonetheless, something has been gained from it, right? And it is a source of wisdom. It is more spiritual muscles with the Hermit down here also. 9. And a 9. And a 9. Talk about them being in reflection stage. Well, I mean, for some, this is an actual divorce. This is Justice, card of Libra. But it can certainly speak of a divorce. It's definitely cutting of ties, right? I feel like when Justice comes out, it means something is definitely unbalanced. And we already know that. But this person has to find that balance. And it may mean that they got to cut ties. Maybe they need a divorce. I feel like they do, because it's coming over the Six of Swords. And that is about movement away from what I feel. And it doesn't have to be physical, right? It can even be in my thought system, but it's the moving, it's the realization and the moving out of it, just like the Death card asks for. Saying to this person, put those thoughts away. And think about what you've learned. And it's like we're getting a peek at it, right? But anyways, when Justice comes out, it talks about, it's coming on this side, and it's talking about making someone whole again, right? Making them whole again, balanced again. Two energies that speak of balance. Anyway, whatever it is, whatever ties they're cutting, definitely feels like it's serving them. I almost feel like you got, like, I don't know. I feel like one thing that someone has learned is, how I was with another, and I then, it's like the universe matched me. So they matched someone back to me that was like me. And that wasn't a good thing maybe back then. Because maybe I had a hard time with the truth. But then here's the Queen, like, well, I can only take the truth. Look at this. So, here's our tie. 10 of Cups, 10 of Cups. Page of Wands. Coming over the Page of Wands. I already felt the Page of Wands was over here. I feel like this page is this Queen. Again, this is why I don't look at signs so much. 10 of Cups. The opposite. The complete opposite of where this person is at. Or at least for the time being. Or however long it takes. But nonetheless, I still feel like, not only is this on my mind, so is this page on the 10 of Cups. Interesting that this Queen has the 6 of Pentacles between the 10 of Cups. And it's almost like that give and take, right? Like, it has to be equal. Oh. We have the 5 of Pentacles, and we have the 9 of Cups. It's interesting because I feel like, in a way, this person, even though I feel like I feel like this person is really starting to understand all this. And I do feel like this person is like getting to that point of true realization that the only way to set myself free is to cut these ties. Nonetheless, you know, here what's also over the worry is the Five of Pentacles, right? And that can talk about maybe have to give up half my money. You know what I mean? If it is a divorce. And that can be difficult. But nonetheless, boom, and then there is the Nine of Cups. Right where we want them, so to speak. The Nine of Swords versus the Nine of Cups. The Ten of Swords versus the Ten of Cups. Two nines. So I feel like they break through the ceiling. They break through the ceiling. Okay, let's bring the crystal vision in. This is exactly why I'm using these decks. I want to see these synchronicities. Ten of Cups, Ten of Cups. I mean, they're everywhere. There's my birthday. I see it all the time. 9/13. I see it all the time. And it's interesting, you know, I probably said that a few times in a twin flame reading. Maybe that means some of you may see your own birthday. Alright, so I'm just looking at the Queen. I feel like she's kind of just okay over here, though. We have the Empress. Like, don't call me the Queen, I am the Empress. You're right. The Empress. So, you know, the Empress coming over this Queen speaks about who she is, right? She's loving, she's nurturing, she's caring. She's definitely open, right? But she is powerful. She's strong. She's wise. She's creative. She's nobody's fool. The truth will only do. You know what I mean? And listen, if you can't bring it, you can't bring it. I don't feel like the Empress is going to sit there, and maybe she did for a while, but because I definitely feel like this Empress, this Queen has done her own work, and boom, the Empress is like, there you are. Interesting. So we had the Queen of Swords. Now we have the King of Swords. I feel like this Queen, or the Empress, we're just going to say, I mean, you know, I feel like, come on, I've done my work. Now, listen, they may have no clue what a twin flame or any of that means, but it doesn't mean that they're not still coming to these realizations. And they are coming to not just earthly realizations, but spiritually. Spiritually. Even if it means I have to let go of half of what I have. I don't know. Alright, we have the Page of Swords. Interesting. And then we have Judgment. Again, the energy of rebirth. But Judgment is your spiritual team that's calling you to the present moment. How interesting. How interesting. You know, like, I try not to put, like, I don't want to put false promises out there. And I think, you know, I have to realize that this does feel like this is taking time. Knight of Pentacles is telling us too, like, patience is, you know, listen, it is what it is. It's like at the right time. But here is the right time. I mean, then there's Judgment, calling you to the present moment. For what? I don't know. Some type of rebirth is about to happen. Something new is coming in. You know, and I don't know if I've already said this, but I feel like this Empress would look at this King and say, listen, I can't have you in my life if you don't have this balance. Maybe if you're not free, if you haven't had these realizations, right? Because I have. I think they do. I really do. Interesting how we're not getting any cards. That would never happen. Oh, there's some. The moon. The moon ties you back to the divine masculine. Over the 8 of Cups. You know, and I feel like, listen, I feel like both sides, at one time, I feel like this queen or the empress had probably said, you know, I don't know what lies ahead, but that doesn't stop me from moving ahead. You know, like if I have to move in the night, I move in the night. Over here, I feel like, you know, it's the uncertainty. Like I want it to be different. You know, it couldn't be any different over here between the 10 of Swords of potentially where they're at, right? But still, they're gaining wisdom out of that. And no matter what I do, I can't move them out of it. But doesn't mean that that energy of the 10 of Cups isn't also part of their thought system. You know, whether they know you or they don't know you. Look at this. And then the 5 of Pentacles coming over the... Oh my God. 5 of Pentacles coming right over the Knight of Pentacles. Again, tying this 5 of Pentacles right next to the 10 of Swords, or 10 of Cups. 5 of Pentacles over the 10 of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. Can I tell you, I feel like what it's saying is, even though this person's had realization, listen, listen, if you're the Empress, then you do have compassion and empathy. If you don't, then you can't say I'm the Empress, right? I can be a queen, but I'm not the Empress. But I feel like I'm speaking to the Empress because I feel like I don't feel like this person, you know, it's almost like I don't feel whole. Or I feel like, listen, I feel like part of them, that they could break through that ceiling, though I think there was a price to pay, but it was worth it. So what I think I'm saying is, like, part of them may still feel or be a little broken. Doesn't mean that's the way it remains. It just may be the way it shows. Change. 5. Okay. I want to just go right in between. What do I want to use? Let's use the Luminous Tarot. Even though I think you can see the clarity, like I think you can see the synchronicities. I think they're very clear. But I still want to take 3 cards in between. Alright, so we're just going to take them from the top. I just feel like I'm supposed to take them from the top. 8 of Swords. Self-created prison. A self-created prison. You know, I say this all the time in a reading. There's no one who can uncreate this but the person who's created it. It was created by the self. Huh. the High Priestess. Doesn't mean their intuition was shut down, right? Maybe I tried. 8 is about allowing oneself to have a new beginning. It is about a new beginning. It's sitting right next to the Empress, the High Priestess. Wow. And then Temperance. Divine timing. Divine timing. I often feel like Temperance is mixing the perfect recipe together. This person over here feels like, okay, I'm at the Empress's status. I opened the reading talking about the Emperor. 10 of Swords. Well, that brings that right back to here. So anyways, divine timing. It's like not plucking the fruit until it's ready. When is that? Your intuition will let you know. Your intuition will let you know. Trust it. This Age of Swords, I don't feel like it belongs to the Empress. I feel like, and if it did, she's cleared that. And I'm saying she, because it's the Empress. But anyway, it doesn't mean over here that they have. But I do think they will. I do think they do. And again, I just think it's interesting the connections that we're seeing, timing, the right timing, judgment, call to the present moment. I may not be whole. I may not feel whole. And maybe in some way, and I do feel like this Empress would not tolerate this king coming into her, let's just say, life, if he didn't speak the truth, And I do feel like for some, that's exactly what they've been going through, the realization of that, because I do feel like this king, I do feel like ultimately becomes the Emperor. But I do feel like, does he come in, and I'm saying him, but does it enter your life complete and whole? Maybe not, but that doesn't make it wrong. Emotionally, yes, they want to be in it. And listen, I feel like if they're not showing that, then I don't know. Because I do feel like they want to be in it. I just feel like there's a part of them that is broken. But I feel like it's almost outside of myself. You know what I mean? Like my pentacles. Or how to give someone the house. Whatever. Whatever it is. So, maybe I don't come to you all that I used to be, but at the same time, it's almost like they cut the fat. All right. Well, I just wanted to look at the bottom, and it's a Chariot. So, listen, it's all about divine timing. However, judgment feels like divine timing. It feels like divine timing, right? And how do I know? You'll know through your intuition. How will it turn out? I don't know, because you're creating it as you go. The moon speaks of uncertainty. Listen, let's say this king does come in. Take your time. But listen, at the same time, all of a sudden I'm seeing the Three of Pentacles up there. And it's reminding me of you and how you are like no other. And I feel like it's this king has that realization. Whether I'm just figuring out or I've known it all along. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes I gotta go through hell to get to heaven. Like, I feel like I gotta go through hell to get to heaven. But, alright guys, I feel like I'm gonna leave it there. I mean, I don't feel like I can move it forward. Temperance, divine timing. Knight of Pentacles, at the right time. You can trust in that. You know, this Knight does speak of loyalty at the same time. So, think about that. And again, this person, I feel like the Five of Pentacles, it's not talking about within them, because I feel like emotionally, like, there's no doubt in my mind that, you know, you're the one that I want. Ba, ba, ba. You're the one that I want. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to leave it to you to interpret it. And I really look forward to your comments. So, wow, it's been a long reading. Anyways, I love you guys. I hope this helped in some way. You know, this person will free themselves when this person frees himself, but this person over here is like living on. I'm moving on, you know, living my life. However, you know, being called to the present moment. Being called to the present moment for what? I don't know. Some type of rebirth, right? Death card. Close that door. Maybe finally made that divorce. A rebirth. This tells me that they broke through the glass ceiling. It's like, you know, yeah, maybe my pentacles were hurt, but not my heart. So, anyways, I'm going to stop talking. I love you guys. I can't wait to read your comments. By the way, thank you for sharing these videos on your social media. I feel like they're so in-depth. I don't know. Maybe they're just not for everyone. I don't know. Anyways, but thank you. Thank you for everything you do for the channel. I won't even go on. Just thank you. So much gratitude. I will see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.